A lot of people, what they've been saying is that why can a guy move up to fight Triple G, but Triple G couldn't move to fight Andre Ward? A lot of people still say that Triple G should have moved up.
Okay, first of all, that fight was never discussed in a contract way. It was talked about in the media. It was talked about how we wanted to go halfway. We never suggested 164. Now, if they suggest it, they have to negotiate it for it to get that point. Now, once we negotiate and put out a contract or put on a proposal and we turn it down, then you can say it. But it was never got to that point. That Dan Rafael wrote an article about 50-50, about weight and everything 50-50. That wasn't us. That was Dan Rafael doing it on his own. And that's a report. That's you guys saying that we're going to fight him at 160. It's not the point. It has to be negotiated for it to be a fact. It's not a fact that we didn't want to fight him. We wanted to fight him. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a fight that will happen eventually, but I think that it has to be understood that there's two parties. It's not just Andre Ward.
Are you guys moving up after this fight? Are you willing to fight 168? I have to ask, because these are questions that people want to know.
We are willing to move up to fight. In other words, if there's no fight at 160 and there's a fight that makes sense at 168, absolutely. This particular fight that's happening on the 10th for us, there was negotiations for about 3.5 weeks with Eubanks. 9 weeks before the fight, all of a sudden Eddie can't make a deal. We can't go into negotiations with somebody else for another 3 weeks. The date is September the 10th. So who are we going to negotiate? Who are we going to prepare for? So what happened was that Eddie told Tom that Eubanks was being difficult and then suggested Kell Brook. Now, if he would have suggested DeGale and DeGale was ready, we would have fought DeGale at 168 because we're not going to keep Golovkin from fighting 3 times a year. He's 34 years old. We lose the date on the 10th. Then when do we fight again? He's 34 years old.
Is there anything that Kell Brook does that you see that he could give you guys some problems?
What Terrence did today. That speed, because he's a welterweight, that speed, that movement, exactly what Khan did to Canelo. The first 4 or 5 rounds, it confused him. As well as you guys, I am very interested in seeing what Golovkin has against somebody that will test him. I want to see. Is it going to be Kell Brook? I don't know. Can Kell Brook do that for 12 rounds? I don't know.
In the past, you said that heard your man say Triple G, he's willing to fight anybody between 154 and 1. Oh, it was you. Okay, very good. Between 154 and 168. You still willing to do that? Okay, go to 154. Say Mayweather would say, hey,
But wait a minute. What you said, you have to say everything that I said.
Fair enough.
People have quoted me on saying that, but what I said was he'd fight anybody from 154 to 168. The 54 would only be Mayweather because he's the only one that has the mantle that he deserves us to come down.
Well, fair enough. Because
but wait a minute. And what I said, and we would only move up to 168 if it made financial sense. Okay, when you go to, now you're going to ask me about Andre. When you go to negotiations with Andre, it doesn't make financial sense because Andre wants the whole pie. It's impossible to negotiate with somebody who doesn't want to negotiate. Now, if Eddie would have been willing to do it with Frachet at 168, we go over there for 80,000 people, we're going to make some money. That's what it's about.
No, fair enough. I mean, my thing is at 154, that's fine because Mayweather's been champ at 154, so you could sell that. So I just want to clarify that.
But Golovkin said, and I said, that the only one we would go down would be for Mayweather.
Fair enough.
You heard me say that, right? And because I think that he's the king, man. He's the one that's going to call the shots. We would never go down to 54 for Canelo.
What about Pacquiao?
No, that's a stupid fight.
You never know. I've seen stranger things happen.
No, I wouldn't want to see that. Honestly, I wouldn't want to see that. I think Manny is a great champion, was a great champion, and is going to continue to have some fights, but I think he's past the point where that fight can be considered. I think Golovkin would be too big, and I wouldn't bring him down below 54 because it'd kill him.